broken up.
Speaking of breakups.
Evan.
Yo. Riding through my hood. Why would you want to break up?
We started this podcast almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Beginning of the pandemic.
100%.
We were inspired.
Oh my God.
By another trio of quadruplet of podcasters. The voice of the culture for many years.
You guys put me on.
The Joe Buddon podcast.
Yes.
There's trouble in paradise.
110%. So, within these past, since the beginning of the year, there's been turmoil over there due to the fact that, if you're not up on the situation, they used to be a Spotify exclusive podcast.
Get in the bag.
Meaning that their podcast was only on Spotify. That's it. You can't get this podcast anywhere else.
And the YouTube shit was different. Like, they would cut out the music.
Yeah. Well, they still do. But, they
it's probably a YouTube thing now. But before...
But, and it would be days later that they would drop the podcasts on YouTube and shit. So, anyways, now they got out of that contract, controversially, due to the fact that many people were questioning Joe's negotiation skills and just overall looking out for everybody else. Just because you're set... Why do you have to fuck with our bags and our consistency and our lifestyle that we're used to and go out on a limb? Just because you can take that risk doesn't necessarily mean that we would want to or can. You feel me? So anyways, and then Joe was super critical of Charlemagne the God and his deal with iHeartRadio of, you're the curator over there, yada, 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 whatever, fuck the bullshit. And he was really, pissed off about it, and he was like, I could never imagine someone doing that.
He said, I could never imagine working for somebody else.
And
that was his point.
That was his point. Own your own business. Be your own, entity.
He was
preaching
ownership.
That's a great thing to stand on. Until you come back a month later and sign an exclusive deal with Patreon to become their cultural curator, important person.
Head of creator equity.
Yeah.
They made up a new position for Joe Budden to fill.
Okay. That's not a problem, right?
It's not.
It's not a problem when until you realize
he left Spotify, left us assed out with the money because we don't have sponsors.
They don't have contracts.
Not with Joe. Not with Joe, but with Spotify they did.
Oh, okay.
They were in a lock. You get this much amount of money to keep your podcast on our platform exclusively.
And then Joe Budden went and signed.
Joe Budden said, "Fuck that! I don't want to do that anymore.
Okay.
Let me start my own podcasting network, and then on top of that, I'm gonna sign myself to Patreon, and I'm gonna get that bag from Patreon because now I'm the head exclusive yada yada top honcho over there."
So why wouldn't he just sign his co-host?
The point.
Excellent point.
So, Rory, the white guy one of the white guys on the podcast, was disgruntled about that.
You could tell.
Supposedly. But anytime that Joe would talk about business and type of shit, it was just him and the other co-host Parks going about it. Rory and Ma would be zipped up the whole time. Because they weren't fucking with it. Because they shouldn't. Because Parks is the only one that's actually in Joe's bag. He's the engineer. He does what I do, you feel me? Like, he's the one that owns all the equipment and does the behind-the-scenes shit.
Brandon, don't ever do this.
I mean, believe me,
my guy.
No, because you could look at the history of Joe Budden and know that there's... Because they used to have a woman post.
No, Joe Budden's an asshole anyway. But.
They used to have a girl host on there. And he just cut her out of the pie. Mm-hmm. Just like that. No question. And motherfuckers didn't see red flags. So, anyways, this new thing, Rory decided to confront Joe on it and was like, "Hey man, what the fuck is going on? Like, my bag is getting fucked up because of your decisions. Yeah. That's not fair to our team. Yeah, it's the Joe Budden podcast, but it's the Joe Budden podcast with Rory and Mal. You feel me? We are on this with you. We help you create this content.
We create
that lets you put your name on there. Same way that me and you, or even back when it was me and Brandon, it was a totally different vibe than it is
Brandon
now.
Couldn't do the podcast by himself.
Right, or just me and Brandon, it would be a different energy if it was just me and him, or if it was just me and you, or just
you.
You feel me? Definitely, it would be any combination is different, but right now what we have is great. It's perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the way that they felt over there. So Rory knew his worth and confronted him about it and was like, "You're all about ownership and everything."
Was this on the air? Because I didn't.
This is all alleged.
Okay.
Nothing really came out about it. And Joe said, okay, you feel that way? Take a couple pods off.
He said
Don't
this.
come over here.
Joe said this in an interview. He said this was the conversation that they had.
No, this was on the podcast. You probably saw the clip from the podcast.
This is an alleged thing.
Okay.
Or he was like, you know what? Take a couple pods off.
He did say this.
He did say this. This was like a quote from him where he's like, take a couple pods off. And then because I told Rory to take a couple pods off, Maul stood up to me and said, who the fuck are you to tell Rory to take a couple pods off?
This is his job too.
Right.
We all do our part. We all come here to pod. So who is Joe Buddon to tell his co-host, I can't come on the show and pod with my boys?
And then Joe, being the asshole that he is, didn't have a very good response according to him. So Maul felt some type of way and said, fuck that, I'm not coming in either. If you're going to be this almighty head honcho who can't cut his brothers in, his friends, his legitimate friends.
No, yeah, not, you feel me?
It's
like,
not even just business. Like, these are his, like, friends. You feel me?
Yeah.
Then I can't fuck with you as a man. And I'm not going to show up. And I'm not going to help you create your content anymore. As a friend and a business partner. And that's been that. So he's been having subs in on the podcast. I haven't been able to finish the episode. It's been so uninteresting and boring.
Apparently the last one was really good. But, like, at the end of the day, like, what the fuck do I look like telling Chris not to come here and do the podcast?
Right.
Which would be understandable if you really wanted to do that. But
why would it? It's not Brandon's podcast.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I've always made that clear. Like, every week when I post the picture, I make sure everybody gets tagged. I make sure, like, you know, like, whenever Evan's got something going on, like, that's my co-host. Whenever you got something going on, that's my co-host.
So you gotta see in my bio, I put 1/3.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we are a team first and foremost.
100%.
And that's why I wanted to, like, I really wanted to make it a point to, like, apologize to you on, you know, on
yeah,
air.
100%.
Because, like, I cannot do this without you. I cannot do this without you. You feel me?
That's real.
So, like, when we see this, it's like bad business.
100%. And it's just it's spooky hours because it's, you know, people who inspired us and people who got us into this game
100%.
and really gave us the blueprint.
But you know what, bro? And I've seen this, and this is like, this has been a fear in the back of my head for like a long time since I came onto the pod. You see shit like YBN.
Mm-hmm.
You see shit like this instance. You feel me? You see shit where like groups break up. You feel me? It's like, and I feel like the problem that is real, like the real issue here is that nobody communicated.
Right.
You feel me?
Well,
people make decisions.
Communicated bad.
You know, yeah, you feel me? People make decisions.
One of them tried to communicate, and the head honcho took it the wrong way.
But even still, he could have communicated beforehand that I'm about to do this deal.
Right.
You feel me? I'm about to make this
100%.
move. He could have did that shit months
What
in
do you
advance.
think about it?
You feel me?
That could have made all the difference.
Is there anything I can do for y'all?
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Is there any way that I can make this situation go smooth for y'all since we're a unit?
Or I'm in the conversation, or I'm in the room with Patreon. How do I get my boys in a position up here?
You know what
How
I'm
do I
saying?
put my boys on the board?
And even if you can't, you feel me, hiring them in a way where it's like, okay, you can do this with your, you feel me?
You take this percentage.
Even
that
if we
I'm
were
making.
to ever go separate ways, right? If we were to ever go separate ways, one day we'll have a last pod. You feel me? We'll all have to figure out what the fuck we gonna do. You feel me?
Right.
Hopefully we're in better positions. You feel me? The pod will put us in better. You feel me?
Yeah.
But that is a conversation that we'll have.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Whether I come and be like, okay, bro, look, I got this going on in my life right now. Like, I'm going to have to take a step back for a while. Or Brandon, you feel me? Like, oh, yeah, I want to focus on clothes. You feel me? And whatever the case. Evan, you feel me? Whatever you want to do, bro. You feel me? Whether it's technical shit, make movies. You feel me? If you want to go make a fucking whatever.
That's fire. But yeah.
You do be making beats. Don't laugh.
That's what I'm saying.
God.
Whatever it is,
Don't
you feel me? That's a
that.
conversation that you have. And I don't fuck. And like, bro, and I've always felt like Joe, like, he has good music takes.
Mm-hmm. He's entertaining. Entertaining.
And he's
an
in the
asshole.
industry, so he knows these people.
And that's what I'm saying. But he's an asshole. Joe
100%.
Budden's an asshole.
Yeah.
For real. And if he ever hears this pod, like, bro, I fuck with you. Like, business-wise, bro, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
So
The ownership shit is important, but the ownership shouldn't just be
And it's
a
just
personal
like,
thing.
it's nasty,
it's the
bro.
principle, bro.
100%. And like, you know, Joe and DJ Academics were on that show for Complex for like a straight year, Everyday Struggle. DJ Academics is going on Twitch and, bro, bashing Maul, bashing Rory. It's been 2 weeks now. We have had no Maul, no Rory.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard Joe defend them once.
Right.
whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on air, whether it's whatever you want to do.
He did say that he wanted to go to therapy with Rory.
I did see that they were going to therapy.
Yeah, like what?
If somebody I know personally disrespects anybody, like, bro, get their fucking name out your mouth, bro. Yeah. Like,
especially somebody who helped you build a platform. You feel me?
It just sucks to see, man. It really sucks because, like, me and Ev, like, when we started this, like, that was, like, he's not lying. That was our blueprint. Like, we play songs at the end of this. We have a little fun intro in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're our blueprint, and, like, me and Evan talked about it, like, when the first Joe Budden Network came out, you know, like, hey, you know, the pod's doing pretty decent, everything considered. Like, we don't have a budget. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest.
Organic growth.
Let's big up ourselves.
Nah, from the dirt.
You know what I'm
For
saying?
real.
Like, I say it. Like,
from the Zoom calls, yeah.
I say it once every 3 months. Me and Evan were posting podcasts with 5 listeners every week, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to lie, I wasn't tapped in for the first few episodes. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
man, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk about it today just because, you know, like,
it's the podcast.
They're very much our blueprint, like, for the most part.
I didn't even listen to podcasts before I came on the pod.
Right.
For real.
Right.
And, like, after, you feel me? I would always post, like, I would repost them and shit
yeah,
when y'all,
sure.
like, you feel me? But, like, yeah, man, this shit's crazy, bro. Bro. And that goes back to what you were saying earlier, bro. I never switch up on my bros, bro.
Yeah.
Never, bro.
Shout out to the people. A lot of people tell me, they're like, you know, I didn't listen to podcasts before I started listening to you guys.
Facts.
I hear a lot of people say that, and I just wanted to say thank y'all so much.
No,
that's such a compliment, bro.
Man. It really is real.
To listen to a podcast is like a different
and just
like
taking in a
experience.
different type of content.
Yeah, 100%.
For you know, people you know.
It's
you
like
feel
watching
me?
AM radio. And that's okay, because we're interesting.
But we're funny.
Yeah.
You feel me? Hey,
That's
look.
the difference.